So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Titanium Business Summit. Our next speaker is Mr. Khosravani. This is a man I've known for many years. He's an incredible man, an incredible marketer, and an incredible educator. Khos has taught over 100 4-credit courses at universities such as Harvard, UCLA, and UC Irvine. He has talked about higher education in America in front of audiences of 14,000 people, including the President of the United States. The only marketing expert hired to share the stage with Donald Trump, Tony Robbins, and other top national speakers. He was chosen as a strategic partner with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and TEDx conferences to publicize the United Nations Millennium Goals. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Khosravani.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. It's not easy to wake up early on Saturdays, but you're all here. I appreciate that. Today I'm going to talk about one of my passions. Most of you, or at least some of you, have seen my Facebook postings where I show you my before and after pictures, my body transformation. And then I apply that to business, life, and many other aspects of my own life. And today, even though my main business is really the bar system, that is how to have a branding, authority, and reputation in order to have effective marketing for your businesses, but the topic today is not really directed about that or business. The topic has to do with the mental, emotional, and physical characteristics and capabilities that we all have within us, something that comes from inside of us. So I'm going to talk about mental, emotional, physical triad of success. Okay, this is me a few years ago. I remember I was watching The Biggest Loser TV show for a while. How many of you have seen that? Almost everybody. And one thing that their main speakers or their main trainers always say is that most attendees at Biggest Loser quit not because of their body, but because of their mind. The body can still move forward and do much more, but they give up here. And that is the key point that many coaches basically work on athletes in military and so on and so forth. Fortunately and unfortunately, I am reverse of that. My mind takes me so far in athletic stuff I do that my body fails me at some point. You know, I basically push so hard and go beyond my physical limit with no problem because of my mind. And by mind, I mean visualization, things that I say to myself. Sometimes I'm talking to myself only and I say, "You've got this cause." Yeah, I talk to myself. But anyway, my body fails. And so this was 3 years ago where I had hernia because I was lifting, weight that I shouldn't be lifting at the age of 50, pretty much. And by the way, a month ago, I pushed myself hard, and what do I have now? Hernia again after 3 years. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have a surgery because, again, I was in a gym lifting 820 pounds in leg press while also lifting 65 pounds dumbbells at the same time of doing leg press. But that's me, and it's not a big deal. And what it is that I love to push myself. At the same time, some of us are one-dimensional people. We are so good in athletics, but not in business. Maybe great in business, but we are fat. Maybe we are in great shape, but relationships fall apart. So one of the things that I strive to do is to begin becoming multi-dimensional man, in your case, woman. So this was really good experience for me that I need to discipline my mind to slow down because the body cannot handle at this age or at any age with the stuff that I do. So most of you have seen this transformation I did in a matter of 3 months, precisely 3 months. And what really happened was at some point, and this was right before I turned 50, I wanted to change myself, change my life. And I wanted to start with the body, because body, as you know, affects your psychology, affects your emotion, everything. If you are very successful in business, but you are extremely out of shape, you have no energy, it will affect your business, doesn't it? How many of you can relate to that? Excellent. So this was my transformation, and in 3 months I did it, and I'll tell you one thing, had nothing to do, or very little to do, with exercise or nutrition, and far more to do with other stuff, which I'll get into that. Aging really is just in your mind, basically. I think I'm same look as when I was, I don't know, that's 19 years ago, 18 years ago. The reason I show this picture is not to show off, but to show you something about aging and the Western medicine. I have major problem with Western medicine. Those who know me well know how much I complain about doctors in this country that constantly focus on drugs, 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 giving drugs to people, to my own mother. And what I've noticed is that no doctor has ever come and told my mother, I want you in the next 2 weeks to only eat this and this and that, and also I want you to go to swimming pool and do this kind of exercises. They don't do that. What they are really good at is, unfortunately, and I'm not pointing fingers to all doctors, but many of them, is take drugs, take pills, take pills. I never take any pills. Basically, I'm as natural as it gets in that department. And I'm saying this, you can have your best body, even when you're 70 or 80 years old, if you take care of certain things that have to do with mind, emotion, and obviously what Damon will probably cover, nutrition, exercise, and all that. And definitely listen to Damon later on. He's one of the best there is in what he does. Now, what was the foundation of my mind power? When I was in my native country, I went to martial arts, and I got my green belt. Later in America, I got my black belt in what's called Shotokan and later Wado-Ryo karate styles. And that was my foundation. And part of what they taught us every day at the beginning and end of each karate session was going to Zen. That basically being in a state of consciously unconscious, quietness. And during that quietness, you could feel the space where you could actually take yourself to the next level because you no longer were reacting to events. If you're driving, and somebody cuts in front of you. Why is there a road rage? Because there is immediate reaction. With meditation and Zen, there is no reaction. There is a space that you can actually feel things. And that Zen truly helped me. There's something we call box breathing that really helps you at the toughest times in a sports, but also in life when you have a stress, pretty much. I had a privilege of last couple of weeks talking and working with some former Navy SEALs. And I also noticed one thing these warriors have in common is actually meditation. They actually do meditation, even though you think that all they do is fighting and doing crazy physical stuff. In fact, next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am sort of crazy enough at this point in my life to train with former Navy SEALs in northern San Diego. And the only thing they told me is when I said, oh my God, can this body handle it? They said, we don't know. But I don't care how good shape you're in, we're going to break you down anyway. So it doesn't matter. The key is, do you quit or not? And that's one of the most important lessons in life. Do you quit or not? And this is something you can apply to your business and life. Now, I made up this graph, we call it infographic, because I truly felt importantly about something. I think health professionals, fitness professionals are failing us because they only focus on fitness, exercise, and nutrition. The reality is, and this is you can relate to, everybody knows about nutrition and exercise to some degree, obviously. Everybody, I bet, knows if they want to get in shape, having broccoli, kale, and chicken breast is better than Big Mac, chocolate shake, and fries. Don't you? You all know that. So we are keep considering teaching more and more about nutrition, even though the foundation people know. Everybody knows how to go on a treadmill and walk, or walk in the streets. The reason some people don't do those two essential things, exercise and nutrition, is because they are not dealing with third and fourth section here, and that is mastering their emotion So when they don't want to go work out, when at night, like last night at 9 o'clock, where's Yazdan? I actually went swimming and it was cold, but the hell, I had to do what I had to do. And he's my swim partner late at night. And everybody has to learn about their mind. Why? Because no matter how much you learn about nutrition and exercise, if you don't have the motivation to go out there when you don't feel like it, then you're not going to do that, right? You're not going to go to the gym. Of course, there are things, strategies you can use. You can go to a great training center like Damon has. There is a feeling of team spirit where the team will move you. All you have to do is move and drive and go to the gym once you're in there. But what if there is no gym? What if there is no training center? What if there is no equipment? I am a very good example of no matter what, I can go in nature and get some stuff done. Now, the way mind works is, or at least for people like me, is one, I use power declarations. Power declarations is if something bothers me, if a client calls and says something that bothers me, or if I don't feel like doing something, I make a internal declaration to myself, sometimes external. I talk to myself, and I always say two things. You've got this cause. I talk to myself. You've got this cause, do it. But while I'm saying that, I also see something internally. I see myself doing boxing. That's for me. For you, could be anything in life that moves you. While I'm listening to Rocky music, every time I have a challenge, I don't want to do something, I immediately do this 4, 5, 6 times until I just say, I come out of my body, I become a witness to my body, and then I'm talking to my body and says, "Cuz, you've got this, do this." And I'm seeing myself boxing, and Rocky is blasting, da 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 da. And that really works. It's all your mind. You can trick your mind. You think your mind knows the truth from untruth. You can totally manipulate your mind in many, many ways. Positive focus. A lot of times we focus on negative, whereas immediately we should switch mentally and focus on positive. So if something is bothering you, let's say as simple as somebody, again, turns in front of you or cuts you off in the road. What I do is suddenly I focus on that person and I say to myself, and this requires practice, but I always say, poor guy, he must have had a bad day. I hope he doesn't get into accident. As soon as I say that, which comes from maybe, I don't know if I have compassion that much or not, but when I say that, it comes out. And it changes my focus into something positive. I call positive focus. Visualization is always important when you're doing sports, but also I'm sure in many aspects of life. And the team spirit, that's very important. The team always moves you. And that's one thing I'll experience next week, because I know in the training with these former SEALs, if one member of the team doesn't quite make it, let's say when they drop you off a mile off in the ocean and the whole team have to swim back, some are swimmers, some are not, everybody has to make it. You can't just go yourself and say, oh, I can swim, forget about them. Team is very important. So